Hi friends, I hope you are having a lovely day. I wanted to do a bit of an in-depth pin video today to show you what pins I currently have in my Princess and the Frog collection. This will be a series that I do over the year, showing you a more in-depth look at all of the pins Joe and I collect in specific collections, just because sometimes I can appreciate that there are certain characters some people might collect. They may want inspiration, they may want to see what pins are out there. It's also just a chance for me to sort of show you my pride and joy, I guess, and I thought it would only be fair to start with my favourite character, which is Princess Tiana. My collection for the Princess and the Frog is actually not that big in comparison to other collections that we have. This could potentially be down to the fact that it's just me that collects it, Joe doesn't, however he has contributed very kindly to this collection. But yeah, I'd actually say, unsurprisingly, our biggest collection in this room is probably Stitch, just because he's quite easy to get a hold of. But I just wanted to give you a more in-depth look at what pins I've collected so far. At the end of this video, if you choose to stick around, I'm also going to be showing some of my Princess and the Frog merchandise. These are some bits that I've collected from Etsy, Amazon, eBay, Vinted, I think, and how I would style an outfit for the parks, because Joe and I have a few Disneyland trips booked over the next couple of years, and so of course I've got to be planning my outfits at the same time. I choose to keep my main collections of my pins on these notice boards, which Joe and I get from Tesco. I believe with a club card they're about £4.50. We currently have 4 of them, and these are for my Princess and the Frog, Pixar, Mickey Mouse and Stitch. These are kind of our biggest collections, so they need to be on a bigger board. The way I've tried to do it, just if anyone out there is wondering how they may want to show off their pins, I'm sure there are a lot of people watching this who already have great display boards or frames. I know that Emily Disney Pins does some really beautiful frames with all of her Cinderella pins, as well as every other pin that she owns, and I get massive inspiration from her Instagram posts. I think some of the, let's call it artwork, that she creates with her pins is just beautiful, and one day I would love to put Tiana in a big frame with a beautiful backdrop of probably the Bayou, and yeah, show off my pins in all their glory. But for now, I think they'll be absolutely fine on the notice board. They still stand out and they look great. I have chosen to put Tiana in the middle. This was my first Tiana pin, and then I'm going to have my Princess Tiana on this side. I think I'm going to have Dr. Facilier going down this corner here, and then her parents, and then supporting cast around. I think there's a bit of a plan, but at the minute it looks a little bit top heavy, shall I say, on one side, just because I've been getting more Tiana pins than any other character for now. But let's get right into it and I can show you what pins I have. I'm going to start with the very first pin I think I actually bought myself, and this was a couple of years ago when I went to Disneyland with my mum and my sister. I have a Princess and the Frog lanyard, which is, I think it was the current release at the time. Princess Tiana was the focus. It could have been maybe when Tiana's Bayou Adventure was coming out over at Disney World. Would love to go on that one day. And so I got this really beautiful, just very basic Princess Tiana. As you know, my favourite form of pin is when you just have the character in their classic form, and I think when I found this, there wasn't anything super colourful or not creative. I don't want to say that word because that sounds bad, but there isn't anything too abstract about her. She just looks really simple, and that is how we know her when, of course, she has her beautiful dress on at the end. Then I think we'll just stick to Tiana for now and then expand. Then we have this when Tiana is kissing Naveen, shall we say. I've decided to move you just a little bit because I don't think the lighting was very strong. Then we have this beautiful Tiana in her dress when she's at Charlotte LaBeouf's fancy dress party, and of course Naveen mistakes her as a princess because she's wearing a beautiful princess gown. This is a classic moment in the film, so I'm really glad I have that encapsulated in a pin. Then we've got a pin here which I actually bought from a Stewpins live sale, and this was from the animation series. I think, as far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong, these were just based on the Disney princesses, and we have them encapsulated as little toddlers. Now this one was really important for me to get because Tiana as a toddler is actually a feature within the film. Not every Disney film makes such a focus on the princess as a kid. We may see a 2-minute backstory as to their childhood, but Tiana is already a fully formed character as a toddler, of course, when we see her interacting with Charlotte, her mum and dad, when she's making gumbo, and so I thought this was just a really sweet pin to have. There is another animations pin where she's sat on the floor and she has a frog, I think, on her foot. I would love to have that one as well, but that's probably going to be bought next month in my kind of, what is it, June budget? As if we're already in June. Wow. I then picked up this pin, I believe last September at Disneyland when I was with Joe. This was the only Tiana pin I could see at the time because I believe the focus was Beauty and the Beast. We went in September, so if anyone knows kind of what the poster was at that time of September 24, I could only see Tiana, and this was within a series of princesses all with little flowers around them. I think this is a really beautiful one, but this for me is what I mean when I refer to them as being quite animated and cartoonistic. I know that that's a ridiculous way of describing it because technically speaking, Tiana is a cartoon, she is a drawing, but this is an adapted version of what she looks like as we know her. So it's not my absolute favourite one, but I think it looks like a really beautiful sketch that someone may have created, and so she does get pride of place on the notice board. I'm gonna have to try and remember which ones I've done. Cool. I recently got this pin, I believe from Emily Disney Pins on Instagram. I'm just going to call her Emily. I need to stop referring to her as her handle. She's a woman. She's a human woman. This is just a really classic one of her in her dress. I really, really love this. Anything where she's just in her beautiful dress, I love. I've got a Disney 100 Tiana, which again, I love that the focus is just the green. My favourite colour is green, and I don't know if that's linked to Tiana or if I just like the colour because I find it very calming and very relaxing. But the fact that there's just a pop of green, but then we've also got the detailing here of the lilies and the lily pads coming down her dress, I just think it's really, really beautiful. I actually love the Disney 100 pins altogether. I think all of the characters must have them that were a part of the Disney 100 celebration, and yeah, they're just a really classic pin. I think there's something about them that's really classy, should I say, not classic, classy. I've got a couple more with Tiana in her dress, which I'll show you together. Some of these, as always, will be bought from eBay, Vinted, not Amazon, Stewpins is a big one, or the Disneyland, Disney World, Disney website. All the good stuff. I think if you are following this pin collecting journey with me, I know that a lot of you guys are also pin collectors, so you will know where to get the best pins. These are just a couple more that I have. This one isn't actually a legitimate Disney pin. It's got a plain back, but that's fine for me because it's just going straight on the notice board, and I have no intention of trading my Tiana pins. So yeah, there we go. And just another one there in her sparkly dress. This was one of the first pins that I bought post Disney trip with Joe when we really started to collect our pins, and this is a hidden Mickey pin, Tiana in a flower. I know that this is beyond a further series. This one is a hidden Mickey pin 4 of 5, so yeah, happy to have that one, and whenever I look at it I always think about the start of our pin collecting journey. I just love it. This one I actually grabbed at the Stewpins convention. I can't remember who I traded this with, I'm very, very sorry. If I'm honest, collecting becomes a big blur because we end up having parcels delivered and Joe and I just mix all of our pins together, and I'm terrible because I never remember specifically who I traded with or when or what website. It just all becomes a big like Disney blur. But we got this one. I was really happy to find like a lot of Tiana pins at the convention, and because we didn't necessarily have many pins to trade, I think that's why I personally ended up spending quite a bit of money that day, which was fine. I planned on doing that because I just kept seeing these Tiana pins and I was like, well, technically I could walk away, but I couldn't walk away. I couldn't not take them with me because I was finding some really beautiful pins. I've also got this one here, which I did recently get from the I got it from Vinted, but I think it's from the Disney Store website. This does come with another pin that says something like chase your dreams. I have personally put that one up for trade just because I didn't love it as much as just the picture of Tiana in her beautiful fantasy dress. And this is nice as well because a lot of the pins I have for Tiana are green. There's a couple that have purple in, obviously for Dr. Facilier, but I don't have many that are just these sort of alternative colours that you don't necessarily associate with that film. Just gives it a little bit of a pop on the notice board. I've got a couple here that are, I guess, alternative series that represent characters. So we have Tiana as a cake, as you do. And then I also got this one from Emily, and it is Tiana as a plant, which makes sense with it being lilies and lily pads and with her little crown there. I like these, they're just nice and simple, and I love when you can just instantly tell who it is. It goes really nice. I see them as a bit of a filler on my notice board, if I'm honest. They're not my favourite pins because I do just love the characters on the pins, but they're a great way of filling up that collection. I have this pin here, which is a beautiful side profile of Tiana. And of course, we've got all the little details here on the sides. This is from 2014, if my eyes don't deceive me. So yeah, a really nice little pin there of her in a slightly alternative way. While I have you, please don't forget to subscribe, by the way. We are now on like 631 subscribers, which is mad. I'm just going to put in a little cheeky side note that I will be fully intending to vlog when we go to the Pinsane event in London in July, and Joe and I may have a Disney trip booked for July, which is so exciting, and we would like to vlog all of it. I want to try and really dip my toe into the vlogging world and build my confidence and show you guys our trip. I also want to just kind of try showing off different elements of our Disney, I was going to say Disney lifestyle, that's really not what it is, but like everything we do related to Disney. Of course, pin collecting is probably our biggest thing right now, but I want to show you the outfits, I want to show you how we do Disney, what food we eat, what rides we love, everything. So please don't kind of forget to subscribe, support the channel. I absolutely love interacting with you all. It's been such a pleasure this year to build this channel with everybody, but also being a part of such a kind and friendly community where everybody is just all here for one thing really, which is Disney. Because why not? It's good fun. It's good fun being a big kid. What can I say? We have here a pin which I actually traded for at the Stewpins event. I believe this was actually my first official trade at an event, which was so exciting. We've got here a set which I bought from Stewpins and it was handed to me at the trading event. This was the princess and their side character little set here. I know that Rapunzel had one, I believe Cinderella had one, Moana had one. I was just interested in Tiana, and then this was technically my first Lewis pin, which was great, and I think I got it during the March live sale maybe. It was one of the few pins in that live sale that I was like, I've got to get it. It's Tiana, I can't pass up the opportunity. In the final few pins that I've got of just kind of Tiana focused, I have her crown here, which I did get at the Stewpins event. I love this. I really appreciate how like thick and weighted it is. It feels like a really quality pin. And then I also have from TJ this 10k medal, which was actually, I want to say like gifted. TJ gifted it to me because I think they felt, I think they saw my collection and thought, just have the pin. I didn't have loads to trade, as I said that day, so I think this was just such a kind gesture, and I know TJ had quite a good handful in their collection, so I really appreciate that. I love it, and it's like a proper little medal. So yeah, I've tried to display it on the board with the straps just sort of down the sides just so you can still see it, but what a cool thing to have. I wonder if there's any other characters that are in the medals, but like, is Mulan one of them? I think. I know for the running events this year, I saw the Magic Millennial do, I want to say the 5k, and I don't know why, but I think it was Mulan. I could be completely wrong. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. final few pins that I have, and these are of, I want to say, I don't love the phrase supporting cast because I don't know, these are still really big characters in the story, but I guess technically speaking they are supporting cast. That's not a bad thing. I have this really beautiful supporting cast pin. We have quite a few of these for all of our different collections. This is the back. And I just think these are a really great way of getting the cast into your pin collection without necessarily having to buy lots of individual for now if you're just starting out like me. So of course we have Lewis, Naveen, Mama Oti, Charlotte and Dr. Facilier, and I think the colours are so dynamic. It's such an eye-catching pin. We have them now for Toy Story, we've got a Stitch one, I think I've got a Sleeping Beauty one as well, which I absolutely love, and I just think they are a must in your pin collection. They are just so cool. I can't see many Charlotte LaBeouf pins either, and I think that is something I've heard somebody else say where she's quite a rare character, so I think for now she may be my only Charlotte pin in the collection. I think it might be easier to transition to Prince Naveen. I have this pin here which I bought from Nicola. Did I buy it or did I trade it? I think we traded maybe for a Buzz Lightyear for this Naveen. This is just such a striking pin. I think the fact that we've just got classic Naveen in the middle, but he's surrounded by this beautiful like purple and green stained glass. It's just so posh. And when I first saw it in Nicola's pinfolio, I didn't know that it was stained glass just because it was against like a darker background. And when I picked it up in the light, I was like, oh my god, I have to have it. It was just beautiful. You can see it there in the light. It's just really nice. And yeah, it makes me want to display it in a better way because I feel like when I have it against this notice board, you can't really tell that it's stained glass, but what can you do? Joe very kindly bought me this pin here, which is a New Orleans stamp. This actually came on a display postcard, which I've now framed. I was originally going to put the pin in there as well, but then I couldn't get the back of the frame on because of the back of the pin being in the way. So this was on here as a stamp, and I just thought it was so beautiful and such a kind gesture from Joe to purchase that for me, because up until him buying it, I had never seen this pin before, ever. So I'm really, really happy to add that to my collection because I think it's really unique and really beautiful. For supporting cast, kind of moving on to the animals, I suppose, my only Raymond pin is this tiny little Ray that I think I got at the Stewpins event. It's just beautiful. I don't mean this as a joke, but I wonder if there are any Ray pins that are bigger, because he's obviously like a little character, physically quite little. So yeah, I kind of imagine a lot of Ray pins to be small in comparison to his cast members. Of course, we had that Lewis pin that I just showed you previously, and then I have this spinner, which when I bought it, the novice in me, I did not know that it was a spinner and I was being really stupid. And then when I took it out of its card, I was like, oh my god, there's two characters on here. So for now, I have chosen to display this as Dr. Facilier, but on the other side we have Mama Oti, and eventually, maybe when I win the lottery, I don't know, I want to buy like 2 of these so I can have both characters facing outwards. And then I know that there is another is it 15th anniversary? Yeah, 15th anniversary pin, I think, with, I want to say it's like a gold background and it has the other characters on there as well. So yeah, I love this pin. Any that are spinners, just that little extra detail makes them really cool. And then I have 2 more Dr. Facilier pins. So I have one where it's the shape of a Mickey head, which is really, really cool. And then Joe recently bought this from the Disney Store UK website, and this is of course Facilier and Lawrence. I don't have any Lawrence pins either, so that was a first for the collection as well. 2 final pins on this board. I have a really beautiful jigsaw piece of James and Eudora. This is just a really nice pin, and of course this will be a part of a much bigger collection, so eventually when I kind of sit down on eBay, I think, and have another proper look at some Princess and the Frog pins, this will be a set that I do hope to complete soon, just because I've currently got the one piece of the jigsaw sat there looking a bit sad. I then have final on this notice board, a Princess and the Frog. It's it was to celebrate the opening day, I believe, of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Unfortunately, it is damaged, and the seller on Vinted did specify that, so I just need to find a new link, I believe, just to fix this side. However, this is just a really nice pin to celebrate the opening of the ride and the little kind of New Orleans section, I believe, at Disney World. So yeah, I'm happy to have that. It's currently sat sort of displaced in the corner of the notice board, I think, until I get it fixed, because it doesn't look as magical when it's broken, but I'm sure it will be an easy enough fix to do eventually. Finally, for my Princess and the Frog pin collection, I have this really beautiful 10th anniversary pin set. Now, I've chosen not to take this out of the box because I think for now they come as a set. I don't intend on separating them or trading them ever. This was probably my most expensive purchase. It was about £70 on eBay, but I think it's just a really nice way of encapsulating Tiana in all of her forms that we see her in the film. Of course, even her as a frog, which I've said this before, but when I first started collecting Princess and the Frog, all of the pins that I saw and all of the pins that I was drawn to was Tiana as a human woman, whether she was the waitress or the princess or whatever. And then it occurred to me when I saw this set, I was like, oh my god, for the bulk of the film she's a frog. Like, without sounding really stupid. So I was really happy to get this because it now really does encapsulate every element of the film. We have her whole story here, which I absolutely love. And this for me kind of sits pride of place on my little set of drawers here, just so it can be admired safely in the box. I wanted to give a little extra shout out to Emily. I recently bought some pins off of her, some of them being in this collection, and she very, very kindly put this little postcard in my parcel as well, which was so appreciated. I will be framing this and sticking it up in our little Disney office space. This was a concept art that I had never seen before. Of course, it's an idea or a rendition of the wedding with Mama Oti and Lewis is there. Ray is probably in there somewhere, maybe in the stars, I guess. And then I very recently got this Disney book, which I then saw the same artwork in, and I was like, oh my god, I can now know what it is. So if you just bear with me 1 second, I will tell you a little bit about that photo. Oh my goodness, god, I'm terrible. There's a whole section here about Disney pins. If you have this book and you've not seen this bit yet, page 250, All Things Disney, making a point. Disney collectors have sought out Disney pins since the 1930s, but it was in 1999 that Disney pin trading became a phenomenon. Yeah, tell me about it. I've spent... well, we won't say what I've spent, but yeah, I'm a part of the phenomenon, shall we say. Oh, wow. There is, oh, what's... her name's completely left me now, but there's the pin collecting guides, and I've seen people on eBay selling them, but not for blooming cheap, I'll tell you that. Well, there's nothing cheap about Disney, let's be honest, but anyway, Ebony, back on task. Right, so there is a half page for Tiana, which is fine, I'll take that. Really, really beautiful discussion about why she is such an iconic princess for many reasons. And there is the same art just down here, and it is concept art by Bill Schwab and John Musker of Tiana and Naveen's Bayou Wedding. Beautiful. Can we also just have a little moment for this concept drawing here? Isn't that just stunning? It's by Kevin Gollaher of Tiana in her waitress outfit. Love it. This book, just as an extra little shout out into this video, this is, I ordered this a little while ago and it arrived this week, and I just wanted this sort of as a coffee table book when you just, I don't know, you might have a film on, you just want something to do other than sit on your phone. I thought that this would be a really great way of just getting to know all of the Disney films that I grew up with and beyond, really. There's obviously many, many Disney films that I've also not seen. Shock. And yeah, so recommend, if you're a Disney fan and you just want something to kind of mooch over a little bit, This is a really fantastic book which covers a little bit of everything Disneyland, not Disneyland, Disney. If you want to stay for another couple of minutes, I'm just going to show you an outfit idea that I've got for Disneyland. This isn't like a finalised idea, but I was having a bit of a brainstorm and I was thinking in July, I'm hoping the weather will be sunny and warm. I haven't been to Disneyland in warm weather for years. The last time I went when it was sunny was maybe like 20 years ago. So part of the fun of going is thinking, how can I dress for the occasion, I suppose. I wouldn't say Disney bound because I'm not doing some sort of like concept Tiana look. I'm quite clearly just supporting my girl, okay? So yeah, let me go get some bits and then I'll show you what I would wear. Right, so the idea is, if you imagine it to be July, sunny, lovely warm day, we're just strolling around the parks and we want to be comfortable. My idea of hell is if I'm wearing something that I get irritated by all day, as I'm sure it is for many people, and especially in Disney when it can get a little bit, shall we say a little bit overstimulating sometimes, or overwhelming. So we're going for t-shirt that I got off Etsy. I would preferably rather have it like super oversized so it sits over my hips. However, I ordered the wrong size, okay? Mistakes happen. So I've just tucked it in, so we've got it here just sat very loosely over my waist. And then I got these like checkered little boxer shorts, shall we say, off of Amazon for like £12. And the green is like the perfect shade to match this t-shirt. To go alongside it, we are wearing my Tiana ears. If you just bear with me, my hair was washed this morning, so it looks a bit flat. These were off of Etsy as well. I do think before my trip, I want to get a second pair. However, these are really special to me. I got these last year. I bought them as like my birthday ears, because that's when we were in Disney in September. And I think they're lovely. You can definitely tell who it's for. They're nice and simple, and they're very, very comfortable too. I've got some green socks on as well, because I feel like if I'm not going to Disney bound or essentially wear her dress, I want to have all the key features of Tiana, one of those being green. And then of course my Loungefly. This is, I bought it second hand, but it was basically brand new when I bought it off of Vinted, and it's of course the lenticular Loungefly for the Princess and the Frog. Now I do have two Loungeflies actually. I think this one I would save to maybe wear with my Spirit jersey, just because otherwise that is a lot of green all in one. So this breaks up the colour a little bit. And then this one I think would just be a really cool addition for the outfit. Let me know what you think. What kind of things do you like to wear for Disney? Are you a Disney bounder? Do you like to wear a concept piece that suggests you are a princess? It's nice just to have the merchandise, I guess, just to support our cast members. Goodness me, I'm out of breath. That's quite a task, isn't it? Like, Disney in itself can be quite an exhausting experience, but in the best way. It's like just one big adrenaline rush. And I'm so like, it sounds really cheesy, but I am genuinely really grateful that I get to share all of these elements with you. And not only are Joe and I excited for our trip, we're excited for the Pinsane event, it's going to be amazing. I'm also just really excited to share these moments with you, and I'm just going to check the mic still on. Yep. I am also just excited to take you along with me. I think, well, I know one of mine and Joe's favourite things to do on an evening is watch Disney and Days Out vlogs, and at the minute they're releasing all of their Walt Disney World vlogs, so we've got a plan every single Sunday night. Yeah, and I hope to be like that one day. I hope to be your comfort creator and to take you along on all these Disney trips that I'm fortunate enough to go on. And yeah, plan some more outfits, I guess. I hope you have a wonderful day, whatever you are up to. Please let me know, what is your key focus when you're collecting? What characters do you like to collect? What characters do you like to dress up as? Are you going to Disney this year? And what are you doing? Please let me know. I'd love to start that conversation with you. See you later. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And I will see you in the next video. Mwah!